I say something, hopefully there's an artifact or two, it might tell us what its purpose was. This is the type of thing that Marty's going to want to see. It is exciting. Feels like we're getting closer. A terrifying incident in a restricted area just blew the lid off what's going on in the small misty island of Nova Scotia. Oak Island researchers are in a panic. The Lagina brothers and their team are working hard to find hidden treasures. People have been hunting for this treasure for hundreds of years. And despite many failures, their excitement remains strong. What scary things could they have uncovered? Let us explore what was the discovery about that left the whole team in shock. Searching for hidden treasures on Oak Island, the Lagina brothers keep digging on a small island off Nova Scotia's southern coast. They've faced many failures, but they're not giving up. With top-notch technology and drilling equipment at their disposal, they remain hopeful, though some people might think they're too optimistic, especially since past explorers haven't found much there. The island is thought to hold valuable items left by different historical figures over time. This fascinating idea is the core of the TV show The Curse of Oak Island, which follows every detail of their search. The team often meets in what they call the war room. They're always excited and ready to dive into any new leads. However, they haven't found much yet, just a few ancient Roman coins and a lead cross that could be linked to the Knights Templar. This cross discovery has led them to do a more careful archaeology-focused excavation to check for more similar items. Adding a spooky twist to their search is the legend of a curse that claims 7 people must die before the treasure can be discovered. So far, 6 deaths have been linked to this hunt, a dark fact that hangs over their efforts. Still, the team keeps going, hoping they won't end up as part of this frightening statistic. But every step forward just brings up more questions. But wait, there's more. They're now thinking about building a big steel dam to dig deeper, which means they need to bring in more heavy equipment and spend more money. They've hired a crew to build a large crane pad, but by a strange twist of fate, it ended up right where they want to dig next. This mistake shows how their enthusiasm sometimes gets ahead of their planning. As time goes on, they find very little. Every small discovery is celebrated and closely examined for any importance. But these moments usually lead to more guesses rather than clear answers. The TV show thrives on this cycle, keeping viewers hooked with the promise of big discoveries that always seem just out of reach. This pattern of excitement followed by disappointment is something the show's fans know well. Every time someone announces, "Hey, we found a new structure. We've found something new. You better come and see it," sparks a wave of excitement. Yet despite the often disappointing outcomes and the repetitive nature of their search, the Lagina brothers and their team press on. They are driven by the hope of making a major discovery that could change their lives and make history. Their unwavering commitment to the search is spurred by the hope that they might be the ones to solve the long-standing challenges of the island. Their work, supported by modern tools and set against a historical backdrop, presents an exciting mix of old and new. While the big treasure continues to elude them, the experience itself brings its rewards, uncovering historical artifacts that, while not the treasure itself, provide glimpses into the past and the thrill of discovery. As another day starts on the island, the team faces the upcoming challenges with determination and a realization that setbacks are likely, but the possibility of what might be buried underground, the stories, the history, and potential treasure, is enough to keep them coming back, shovels in hand, ready to dig again, at a spot where old drainage systems once converged on their way to what is now known as the original money pit. It's almost like living out a childhood dream, isn't it? Rick and Marty, 60 years later, are still digging deep in the money pit area. They often find things that raise questions, like, what is this doing here? Something that seems out of place, not likely something a farmer or trader would accidentally leave behind, but more like part of an old chest, perhaps overvalued in its significance. As they dig deeper, the team faces big problems that really test their determination and stretch their resources. Challenges at Smith's Cove. When the team gathered in their war room, it was obvious that they had some big challenges ahead. The crane pad sitting right over an important spot was a major headache, not just because it was in the way physically, but also because of all the red tape involved in moving it. Rick was all set to start a large-scale dig right under it, but this meant navigating a maze of permits. It was like a race against time. Working alongside the Irving equipment operator was crucial, although this collaboration was bound to complicate things even further. The team, including Craig, had set their sights on finishing up their work at Smith's Cove for the year. But moving the crane, the largest piece of equipment, was a logistical challenge in itself. They needed to rethink the entire route from the 10X area down to Smith's Cove. Seriously rethink it, because moving forward was getting tougher. The chances of finding anything valuable were becoming slimmer, prompting them to look at new sites that might prove more fruitful. But any progress was gated by the need for government approval. They had to get permission to widen their search area and deal with the bureaucratic headache of renewing permits for their dam, which were about to expire. This slow and frustrating process was a far cry from the exciting treasure hunting they had envisioned. Despite these obstacles, the team was determined to work around the crane pad to explore what lay beneath. Their resolve led them to plan meticulously in the war room and then check out the site at Smith's Cove. Here, Rick, Marty, and Dave Blankenship had to figure out how to deal with the crane pad dilemma. The clock was ticking, as their permits were due to run out by the end of summer, adding a sense of urgency to their operations. They also planned to consult with Billy, whose advice had become invaluable during this time. During their visit, they were joined by Laird Niven, an experienced archaeologist, who recommended they first try to reach the slipway with their equipment. This would allow them to carefully clear and inspect the area, taking both hopeful and practical steps forward. Potential Clue was just one of many underwater items they had chased before. Its importance was discussed not because it was valuable by itself, but because it offered a new focal point in their ongoing search. It was like opening a new chapter in a book that seemed to have endless pages but few rewarding endings. As the divers geared up, the atmosphere was a mix of cautious hope and dull routine. They had been through this process many times, suiting up, diving in, and clinging to hope despite the odds. The cold water was a harsh reminder of the challenges they faced below, and there was more. Every small item found was treated as if it were very important, catalogued as though it were a crucial piece of history. The efforts continued relentlessly throughout the day. Eventually, the supposed anchor was pulled up, its surface covered with barnacles and sea marks. It was examined as if it were an important relic, yet everyone understood it might just be another misleading piece of junk. The team worked hard, both on land and at sea, searching for answers, diving deep for hidden truths. The day ended with many questions still unanswered. The team's spirits were a mix of hope and realism, each member likely wondering if their efforts that day had brought them any closer to their goal, or if it was just another day spent in vain. Switching from the usual land-based searches where treasure hunters sift through dirt and scan the ground with metal detectors, the team led by Jack ventured into the sea. They investigated an unusual triangular structure protruding from the ocean floor directly aligned with the infamous money pit. This alignment made them wonder if the structure was connected to the island's second flood tunnel system, which could potentially lead back to the money pit. Jack and his team had hoped for a simple treasure hunt on land, but now their search had extended into the ocean, complicating their quest significantly. They needed to use advanced diving gear and underwater technology to probe the depths. Their determination was strong, nearly obsessive. The treasure hunt had evolved from an exciting adventure into a complex challenge, with each discovery leading to more questions than answers. The big find in Oak Island's labyrinth after many years of tough digging. Dave, Dan's son, stumbled upon something quite shocking in the famous underground labyrinth on Oak Island. Dan Blankenship, a determined treasure hunter, started a big project in the 1970s called Borehole 10X, aiming to find hidden treasures buried deep within the island's intricate underground pathways. What exactly did Dave discover under Oak Island that was so startling they had to immediately stop drilling? Stick with us as we explore this incredible find that could potentially rewrite history. In the early 1970s, Dan said, "I first got involved in 1965, and I've been fully dedicated here since around 1970 or so." He and his business partner, David Tobias, were intrigued by a promising signal that earlier explorers had detected, a complex network of tunnels thought to be concealing the island's hidden riches. To get a closer look, they drilled a large hole about 27 inches wide, going down roughly 235 feet below the surface. This undertaking wasn't just about finding treasure. It was a courageous exploration into the unknown, driven by the hope of discovering what Oak Island had kept hidden for so long. The early results from Borehole 10X were quite surprising. As the drill pushed deeper, it revealed unexpected empty spaces and gaps at different depths, suggesting that there might be elaborate underground structures. It's possible that these structures were built specifically to protect valuable items long ago. These findings increased the excitement and wild theories among the spectators, encouraging everyone involved to continue digging deeper. And the best is yet to come. The story of Oak Island and its hidden treasures began over 200 years ago, when a young boy discovered a strange sunken area on the island. This discovery led to generations of treasure hunters, including the likes of Dan Blankenship and now his son Dave, trying their luck and skill at uncovering the hidden riches. The island has been rumored to hold all sorts of treasures, from pirate gold to ancient artifacts of immense historical significance. Over the years, many have tried and failed to retrieve the treasures, with each attempt adding to the legend and intrigue surrounding the island. As for Borehole 10X, it has become one of the most famous attempts to uncover Oak Island's questions. The project was named for the 10-inch diameter of the original hole, though it was later expanded to accommodate larger drilling equipment. The drilling reached layers of earth and clay that hadn't been disturbed in centuries, suggesting that whatever was hidden below was meant to stay concealed. The process of drilling and exploring such depths is fraught with challenges. Besides the technical difficulties of keeping the borehole open and stable, there's also the ever-present risk of flooding, which has plagued many previous expeditions over the years. The Blankenships and their team have dealt with equipment failures, harsh weather conditions, and unexpected water inflows, all of which have made the search even more challenging. Right below the surface, there are hints of hidden treasures that have attracted explorers and adventure seekers for a long time. Borehole 10X, initiated by treasure hunter Dan Blankenship in the 1970s, began as a straightforward treasure search. Over the years, this search has turned into a complex story of discoveries, unveiling glimpses of underground rooms and unusual structures that keep everyone guessing. From the earliest excavations to the latest underwater explorations by famous diver John Chatterton, every new effort seems to take us closer, but still leaves us wondering about what's truly under Oak Island. Dan Blankenship launched Borehole 10X in the early 1970s. I first got involved in 1965, and I've been completely absorbed here since 1970 or so, Blankenship once remarked. As a treasure hunter deeply tied to the Oak Island legend alongside his colleague David Tobias Blankenship, aimed to further explore a fascinating discovery by previous treasure seekers. A sophisticated flood tunnel system they thought was designed to safeguard the island's rumored hidden treasures. This led them to drill a borehole about 27 inches in diameter that reached roughly 235 feet below the ground. This was not just another dig. It was a significant leap into the unknown, driven by the hope of understanding what Oak Island really held. As Borehole 10X starts to show its hidden things, the first findings suggest something amazing below. The initial outcomes from Borehole 10X were certainly intriguing. Every time I got a little worked up, I thought, just calm down. This is going to unfold in its own way, Blankenship recalled. As the drilling continued, they encountered unexpected gaps and voids at certain depths, indicating there might be underground rooms or chambers. These discoveries were thrilling because they supported long-standing stories that the island was home to elaborate underground structures, possibly meant to hide valuable treasures. Finding these spaces ramped up the excitement and curiosity around the borehole, prompting further investigations.